You tell them exactly what they did. You explain the damage without shouting. You describe the moment, the words, the broken trust, and the wound they left behind. They hear everything. But instead of apologizing, they begin searching for an escape. They question your memory. They criticize your reaction. They remind you of something you did years ago. They claim it was only a joke. And when every excuse fails, they finally say, "I'm sorry you feel that way." It sounds like an apology, but it contains no responsibility. They are not sorry for the harm. They are sorry that the harm became inconvenient for them. And now you are left with a disturbing question. Why would someone rather damage an entire relationship than admit they were wrong? Why do two simple words, "I'm sorry," feel impossible for certain people? The answer goes much deeper than pride. For some, apologizing threatens the identity they have spent their entire life protecting. For others, refusing to apologize creates a hidden sense of power. And for a few, your pain simply does not carry enough emotional weight to overcome their entitlement. This Mind Trap documentary is divided into 6 chapters. You will learn what a genuine apology requires, how shame can make accountability feel dangerous, how the mind secretly rewrites harmful behavior, and why withholding an apology can actually make the offender feel stronger. But stay until the final chapter, because the most important lesson is not how to force someone to apologize. It is how to stop their refusal from controlling your peace. If you want to understand the hidden mechanisms behind human behavior, subscribe to Mind Trap. Now let us enter the mind of someone who never apologizes. Chapter 1. What a real apology actually requires. Many people know how to say the word sorry. Far fewer know how to apologize. "I'm sorry, but you made me angry." "I'm sorry if you misunderstood." "I'm sorry you took it personally." These sentences imitate the sound of accountability while quietly returning the blame to the injured person. The word is present. Responsibility is missing. Research examining the structure of effective apologies identified several important components: expressing regret, explaining what happened, acknowledging responsibility, declaring an intention to change, offering repair, and requesting forgiveness. But these parts do not carry equal weight. The most important element is the acknowledgement of responsibility. The offender must be able to say, without hiding behind intention, "I did this, it caused harm, I was wrong." The next powerful element is an offer to repair the damage. This matters because a genuine apology is not only an emotional performance, it creates an obligation. It asks the offender to do something differently. That is exactly why false apologies remain vague. The person may regret the argument, but not the behavior that caused it. They may regret being exposed. They may regret losing access to you. They may regret the consequences. But regret over consequences is not remorse for harm. A real apology temporarily places control in the hands of the injured person. It allows that person to decide whether forgiveness, distance, or reconciliation is appropriate. For someone obsessed with protecting control, that emotional position feels dangerous. So they speak around the injury, they explain their intentions, they argue over details, they focus on your tone. Anything is easier than standing inside one honest sentence: "What I did was wrong." This is the first key to understanding the non-apologizer. They are not always incapable of recognizing the facts. Sometimes they are resisting what those facts would require them to become. Chapter 2. When I was wrong threatens their identity. A psychologically secure person can separate behavior from identity. They can think, "I did something harmful, but I can face it, repair it, and make a better choice." An emotionally fragile person may experience the same mistake very differently. They do not hear, "You did something wrong." They hear, "You are worthless." This is where the difference between guilt and shame becomes important. Healthy guilt focuses on behavior. I caused harm. Shame attacks the entire self. I am a terrible person. Guilt can motivate repair because the person believes change is possible. Shame often produces hiding, denial, rage, or counterattack because the person feels their entire identity is under threat. This does not excuse harmful behavior, but it explains why some people become more aggressive when presented with undeniable evidence. The closer you move toward the truth, the more trapped they feel. Their mind enters a defensive state. If they accept your account, they must confront the possibility that they are not as fair, loyal, intelligent, or morally superior as they imagined themselves to be. Psychology calls part of this tension cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort produced when evidence conflicts with an important belief. I am a good person. I deliberately humiliated someone. Both thoughts cannot sit together comfortably. A mature person reduces this discomfort through accountability. I behaved badly. I must repair the damage. A defensive person takes another route. They deserved it. They are exaggerating. They forced me to react. That is not what happened. The facts are altered so the protected identity can survive. Research on self-affirmation offers an important clue. When people were helped to feel more secure in their broader sense of self, they became less defensive and were capable of giving more complete apologies. This suggests that refusing to apologize is not always a sign of inner strength. It can be evidence that the person's self-image is too fragile to survive honest examination. Some learned this pattern early. In certain homes, admitting a mistake did not lead to correction. It led to humiliation, punishment, or the withdrawal of love. The child learned that being wrong was unsafe, but childhood explains the armor. It does not justify using that armor to wound other people. An adult remains responsible for recognizing when an old defense has become a weapon. The person who never apologizes may appear powerful because they never bend. But genuine strength is the ability to look directly at your own failure without collapsing, running, or attacking the person who revealed it. Chapter 3. How their mind rewrites what happened. Memory is not a perfect recording, it is a reconstruction. People remember events through the filters of emotion, intention, self-interest, and identity. This creates a dangerous gap between the person who caused the harm and the person who received it. The injured person remembers the impact. The offender remembers the intention. You remember being publicly humiliated. They remember trying to be funny. You remember being abandoned when you needed support. They remember being busy. You remember a promise being broken. They remember never using the exact word, promise. Because they did not intend to cause severe damage, they conclude that severe damage could not have occurred. But intention does not erase impact. A person can cause harm without planning it. And once the harm is explained, continuing to hide behind intention becomes a choice. The non-apologizer often begins by minimizing. It wasn't that serious. When that fails, they shift responsibility. You made me do it. Then they compare injuries. What about everything you have done to me? And finally, they attack your emotional response. You are too sensitive. Notice what has happened. The conversation began with their behavior. It now ends with your personality on trial. This is not problem solving, it is psychological redirection. By forcing you to defend your memory, your emotions, and your character, they escape the original question. Did they cause harm? After enough arguments, you may begin to doubt yourself. You search through every detail, wondering whether you explained it badly or reacted too strongly. Meanwhile, They leave the conversation convinced that your confusion proves their innocence. This rewriting may be deliberate in some cases. In others, the distortion becomes genuinely believed. The human mind can repeat a self-protective story until it no longer feels like a lie. That is why perfect evidence does not always create accountability. You can provide messages, dates, witnesses, and exact words, but evidence cannot force honesty from someone whose identity depends upon misunderstanding it. And the longer you argue, the more energy you spend trying to enter a courtroom where the accused also controls the evidence, the verdict, and the definition of truth. Chapter 4. Why refusing to apologize can feel powerful. There is another reason some people withhold apologies. It makes them feel powerful. Research has found that refusing to apologize can temporarily increase an offender's feelings of control, self-esteem, and personal integrity. That may sound strange. We often imagine that the person who refuses accountability is secretly suffering under overwhelming guilt. Sometimes they are, but sometimes withholding the apology rewards them psychologically. An apology can feel like surrender. It means accepting your version of the injury, lowering their defenses, and risking rejection. It means you gain the power to decide whether the apology is enough. Refusal reverses that position. Now you are waiting. You are explaining. You are returning to the conversation, searching for the correct words that will finally make them understand. They decide when the issue is discussed, when it is dismissed, and whether your pain deserves acknowledgement. The apology becomes emotional currency. The longer they withhold it, the more attention and control it appears to purchase. This becomes especially dangerous in relationships built around dominance. The person may know exactly what you need to hear. They may even reveal their awareness through carefully calculated half apologies. I already said I was sorry. What else do you want? But they never clearly name what they did. They offer just enough language to make you question whether you are being unreasonable, without surrendering any real control. In this dynamic, the missing apology is no longer a failure of communication. It is part of the power structure. You believe the conversation remains unfinished because you have not explained yourself clearly enough. They may prefer it unfinished because your waiting confirms their importance. The painful truth is that some people understand your wound perfectly. They simply value control more than repair. Chapter 5. When empathy and guilt are missing. Not everyone who struggles to apologize has a personality disorder. Some are emotionally immature, some panic under shame, some lack the language required for vulnerable conversations. Others came from environments where apologies were interpreted as weakness. But there are cases in which the refusal is connected to something darker: low empathy, entitlement, and antagonistic narcissistic traits. Again, this is not a diagnosis. A single behavior cannot reveal an entire personality, but patterns matter. Empathy allows a person to enter the emotional reality of someone they have hurt. Guilt tells them that the harm conflicts with their values. Together, these emotions create the internal pressure to repair. When empathy is weak and guilt is easily silenced, that pressure disappears. Research examining narcissistic traits found that narcissistic rivalry, the hostile, defensive drive to protect superiority, was associated with a lower willingness to apologize. Reduced empathy and guilt helped explain that relationship. For such a person, the central concern is not, "How deeply did I hurt you?" It is, "What will admitting this cost me?" They may apologize when the apology protects their reputation, restores access to something they want, or prevents consequences. But watch what happens after the words. Does the behavior change? Do they show curiosity about your experience? Do they make a specific effort to repair the damage, or does the same injury return once the crisis has passed? An apology without changed behavior can become another form of manipulation. It resets the relationship without correcting the pattern. This is why tears are not always proof of remorse. A person can cry because they are losing control, losing access, or facing consequences. Their distress may be real while remaining completely centered on themselves. Remorse looks beyond the self. It asks what the other person experienced. It accepts that forgiveness may not arrive immediately. It understands that trust must be rebuilt through consistent behavior, not demanded as a reward for saying one emotional sentence. Do not judge accountability by the intensity of the performance. Judge it by the direction of the change. Chapter 6. Stop waiting for the apology to set you free. This final chapter is not about them, it is about what their refusal has been doing inside you. When someone harms you and denies it, the injury remains psychologically unfinished. You are not only carrying the original pain, you are also carrying the confusion of having that pain rejected. The mind returns to the event because it wants coherence. It imagines future conversations. It rewrites old arguments. It searches for one perfect explanation powerful enough to break through their defenses. You may believe that hearing "I was wrong" will finally confirm that your experience was real. But this creates a trap. Your peace becomes dependent upon the honesty of the person who violated it. The more they refuse, the more important their acknowledgement becomes, and the more important it becomes, the more control they maintain over your emotional life. Closure is often misunderstood. It does not always mean receiving an explanation, a confession, or an apology. Sometimes closure is accurately recognizing the pattern. They hurt you. You explained it. They minimized it. You gave them another opportunity. They attacked your reaction. That sequence is information. Their refusal to take responsibility does not erase what happened. It reveals what kind of repair they are currently capable of offering. This is where boundaries become necessary. A boundary is not, "You must admit what you did." That still depends on their cooperation. A boundary is, "If this behavior continues, I will change my access, my participation, or my distance." It focuses on what you control. You cannot force empathy into another person. You cannot argue someone into having a conscience. You cannot make accountability feel safe for a person committed to avoiding it. But you can stop presenting your wound to someone who repeatedly uses it as evidence against you. You can stop confusing endless explanation with communication. You can stop treating a forced apology as proof of transformation, and you can measure remorse through behavior. Do they take responsibility without being cornered? Do they name the harm specifically? Do they listen without turning themselves into the victim? Do they accept consequences? Do they change the pattern when nobody is watching? These questions reveal far more than the word "sorry." You may never receive the apology you deserve. That is painful, because part of you still wants justice to arrive through their mouth. But your healing does not require their permission. You are allowed to trust what you experienced. You are allowed to grieve a relationship that could not survive accountability. You are allowed to leave a conversation that exists only to make you doubt yourself. And you are allowed to accept that their refusal may be the final answer. Not the answer you wanted, but the answer that reveals the truth. A genuine apology is not humiliation. It is evidence that a person values truth more than ego and repair more than control. Someone who never apologizes may look unbreakable, but often they are imprisoned inside an identity so fragile that one honest admission feels like destruction. Understanding this can explain their behavior. It does not require you to continue accepting it. Sometimes the apology never comes. Sometimes the person who hurt you will continue protecting their image at the cost of your relationship. When that happens, remember this. Their denial cannot rewrite your experience. Their silence cannot make the injury imaginary. And their refusal to take responsibility is sometimes the clearest apology they are capable of giving. This is Mind Trap. Subscribe for more investigations into the hidden psychology shaping human behavior, relationships, and power. Until next time, watch the pattern, not the performance.